Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 26 of our 365-day challenge, our BU 365-day challenge. Do one thing every day that improves us. Today, our topic, our physical topic this month, is talking about healing. And I'm going to share my number one tip, my number one strategy with you to reduce pain, to live with pain, to deal with pain. I've had chronic pain most of my life, but especially since my early 20s. My early 20s, I was bedridden for like 3 years with bizarre, freakish health challenges. And part of what I've learned about healing is that we have to heal ourselves. Now, instead of talking about different modalities, different types of healing, illness, diagnosis, I thought today we would explore 4 different cards that I pulled from 4 different decks, just because it's a way to do broad brushstrokes on the topic of healing without me having to go into massive detail, because each of our situations is different, right? What well-being healing is, according to this card, I need a magnifying glass, the restoration of well-being, right? To restore yourself to a state of well-being is what healing is. And I would agree with that. I think not everybody is born healthy, but the vast majority of us are born healthy, right? And we want to be returning to a healthy state, or the best physical state or the best well-being for us. And that's determined by who? You. Each and every one of us is different. Then the next one is, my mind is a powerful healing tool. My mind is a powerful healing tool. On the back of that, it says, every illness holds a lesson for me to learn. Now, I learned this one the hard way, but it is so true. Every illness, every challenge I've had has had a huge lesson in it for me. One of the biggest, most important lessons that I learned early on was that my mind is a powerful healing tool. What I think and how I feel about what's going on in my body is definitely and distinctly and directly connected. Whether I believe it or not, it is. If I think I can get sick or catch an illness, guess what? I will. I absolutely positively don't believe that I will get COVID ever again. Now, I got COVID before they even knew what COVID was in late December, early January of 2020. It was definitely here before March of 2020 when the country started to be shut down here in the United States. But I'm confident that I won't ever get it again. Why? Well, I'm taking steps to make sure I take care of myself and separate myself and do the things that I need to do for my health, just like you need to do the things for your health and your well-being. My healing is already in progress is our next one. My healing is already in progress. And this one says, my willingness to forgive begins my healing process. That includes forgiving yourself. I allow the love from my own heart to wash through me, cleansing and healing every part of my body. I know I am worth healing. That is a really good mindset, right? And then finally, I am taking the next step for my healing. I'm taking the next step for my healing. It says, the moment I say positive affirmations, I step out of the victim role. I am no longer helpless. I acknowledge my own power. That's one of the things I learned when I was first sick in my 20s. I thought that I had to count on the doctors to fix me. I figured they'd come up with a diagnosis, they figured out what was wrong with me, and then they would know what process to follow to make me better again. Well, it turns out doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, and to this day, they've never really figured out what's wrong with me. Sometimes I have rheumatoid arthritis when I get tested. Other times I don't have rheumatoid arthritis when I get tested. Now that's confusing to me, so it's got to be confusing to my doctors as well as other things. I mean, I've been tested and poked and prodded for just about everything you can imagine over the course of my 60 plus years here on the planet. And I have had some interesting physical challenges that I've had to learn to heal from. And my secret to how much pain I was in, because our mind instantly wants to go to focusing on the pain, and training myself over time to focus on those small intervals. And in the beginning, they were teeny tiny. You know, it was a minute here or a couple of seconds there where I would have a breath of relief from the pain. And by focusing on those times instead of the times that I was hurting, those times got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The intervals grew to the point where I could get out of bed. I could function again. I could do some things. You know, I could go take a shower and still, not be dying and pain, and having some energy after that to maybe have a snack or something that was good for me, etc. And that built up over time. it was definitely a process, but it's a process of training our mind to focus on what we want, not on what we don't want. I focus on perfect, ideal health for me. I don't focus on comparing myself to others. I don't think about that I'm not perfect yet. I just continue to focus on what I want, and then I move toward that slowly. So that's my secret tip for how do you get out of a funk? How do you get back to well-being? How do you live with a circumstance that you don't think that you can live with? And that's by focusing on what you want and focusing on the time in between the challenge that you're having. Like if you've got the flu and you're throwing up, this is a terrible example, but a good example because most of us can relate to it. How many people do you know that haven't ever been sick and actually regurgitated or thrown up? Very few. I know there are some, but my daughter, when she was a baby, she wouldn't throw up no matter what. She would actually turn blue sometimes because she wouldn't throw up. But most people don't have a problem throwing up. My son was just the opposite. He was a massive, every time he ate, he threw up. So everybody's different. But if you are sick and have a bug or something, and you're focusing on throwing up, guess what? All you're thinking about is throwing up, and you're going to throw up a lot more often than the person that relaxes and calms down and just de-stresses or sleeps in the times between throwing up when you have the flu or something. So I don't know if that's a great example, but it's true, and it's one that we all can have a chance to practice or experiment on ourselves when next time we feel that urge to like throw up. I have another tip for when you have to throw up and your stomach is really nauseated and sick, but I'll share that on another day. So healing is our topic today. What I want you to do is think about and share in the comments below something that you've learned about healing, or a tip you have about healing, or something that you know has worked for you, because that way we can learn from one another, and that helps us all to improve and become a little bit better every day. It's our challenge for today. Go out, make it an awesome day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with another physical related challenge with respect to our 365-day challenge to become a little bit better version of ourselves each and every day. Any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye. Go get well. Be well. Bye.